And in this video, let's talk floors.
I've never seen anything quite like this. It's sort of reddish with black outline. I'm not sure what this is. Looks almost like a barnyard or something like that.
Damn, that's ugly.
Okay, so after we decided that the flooring needs to be replaced, we headed down to our favorite flooring store in Murrells Inlet, Flooring Plus. And we've been there before and they do a good job. And we looked and looked and looked and decided on a lighter floor, kind of like a grayish, weather-beaten type look. And that's what we picked. And now we're just waiting for the install. But let me show you what the floor is going to look like. So what we're going with is luxury vinyl flooring by Chesapeake. It's a vinyl floating floor that's waterproof and scratch resistant and cost us a little over $4 a square foot. As you can see, it's much lighter than the red-black floors that are on there now, and we think it's going to be a big improvement. Now, the installation will involve ripping up the old floor and putting down the new, and that day couldn't come soon enough. Okay, so today the floor project begins. The first day is going to be demo day. The crew is coming in from Flooring Plus. They're going to rip this floor up. We've gotten everything ready, taking everything off the counters and the shelves, and they should be here any minute now. And the interesting thing is we're wondering what are they going to find under this floor? How's the subfloor? We don't know, but we're going to find out. The crew arrived on time and went to work taking up the old floor. And that floor came up pretty easily because it was a floating floor. The plastic underlayment that you see here was also removed, which brought us all the way down to the subfloor, and that's where we found there was some damage. So it looks like when they originally built this, they did plywood here in the kitchen area, and they had tile originally on this, and there's some mortar still left over. And then they switched to particle board where they used to put carpet, and that was building code back then. It's not building code now apparently. And then what happened here was they ripped up the tile, they took up some of the particle board. This is going to have to be patched. They also left all this mortar, which is making the floor very irregular, and this will be scraped down to make it a little more smooth. So you can see in one of these bedrooms, the underlayment floor also is like a particle board because they originally had carpet here when the place was first built. And apparently this is not code anymore. As I said, you can't put particle board down as a subfloor. We headed for a quick walk on the beach to get out of the crew's way. So while those guys are working away, we're going to take a little break and walk along the beach. So to me it's interesting and hard to believe that back in 1983 when the condo was built, they were allowed to use particle board for the flooring with the idea that that's where carpet would go.
Codes are a lot different now.
And fortunately, it's a good day for those guys to be working on the third floor. It's 70 degrees, low humidity, nice breeze. So we have the windows wide open for them and don't need the air conditioning running. Okay, walk is done. 3 miles are behind us. We're going to go back in and see how the guys are doing. And when we arrived back, we were pleasantly surprised because they were already starting to lay the new floor. Looking good. You guys are quick.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
Okay, one side done. Just move the furniture over to the new side so they can do the old side over there. And side by side, you can see the difference. And as I mentioned, the subfloor was pretty beat up. As a matter of fact, over by the slider, we could see some deterioration of the subfloor because of some previous water damage. So I went outside with my trusty caulk gun and sealed around the slider. These guys finished 3/4 of the work, I'd say, in one day, and we're doing about 950 square feet. And they worked hard. Let me tell you, they spent a lot of time with floor prep, and that's important when putting down the luxury vinyl planking. So the first thing they did is they checked for any low spots and filled it in with leveling compound, as you can see in this photo. And then they took a handheld tool and they looked for any nails that were popped up, and if they found nails that were protruding, they took a hammer and they banged them down. And lastly, if there are any seams in the old floor, the subfloor, they sanded them down to try to make everything as flat as possible. All right, so day one of construction is done.
What a transformation. And so far, we're very happy with the results.
Okay, it's day number 2. Let's take a look and see what has to still be done. They need to finish the floor in the kitchen, in the bedroom, and the other bedroom. So we're hoping they'll be done sometime around noon, 1 o'clock today. And then the next project is at the end of this week. The countertops in the kitchen are being replaced. And that will be a whole nother video. The crew arrived on time and went right to work. And in no time, they had the floors completed. As a matter of fact, the total job only took a day and a half. Well, they finished.
And they did a great job.
They really did. They're really meticulous about cleanup. They're very careful with prepping the floors, and did a really good job. Even along the baseboard, they took off the old quarter round, put new quarter round, caulked it, and even painted where there's some marks.
Right.
So with the white paint. So we're very happy with their work. We would recommend them, and we think the floors look great. And before we go, should we show like a little before and after?
Yeah.
All right, take a look. Well, that's it. And next time, as I said, it's the countertops. Until next time, safe travels.